We have another reading. So, as our overview, we would look. The first thing I notice is there's a lot more darkness in the cards. We've got cards that have black in them, which is not too common. And we're just looking at there are four of them, plus a heart with swords upside down. So just kind of looking at the flavor of this reading. But we can also see that for major arcana, we seem to only have two. So even though there are some lessons that are being brought up in this reading, there's a lot of activity with just day to day stuff and people, right? So looking at this, I'm almost tempted to really start here with the death card. It's kind of a big card, and people kind of freak out with that. But in this case, I think that's going to be indicative of some things here. So, in the far past, this person had some major transformation that was due to happen. They were called upon to make a transformation, but because it's upside down, it would indicate that that didn't happen. That maybe they got stuck in the midst of that, and they didn't really emerge on the other side. So, pursuant to that, so that's kind of at the core of it long ago or sometime in the far past. So, what happened was then the Two of Swords. So they've been kind of stuck in a decision. Imagine if you didn't go through that transformation, you would know about it. Let's say you're in a dead end job or a dead end relationship or um, need to evolve on a spiritual level, and you've been hiding from it or postponing it and just not doing what you know needs to happen, it really does leave you in this position of having to make a decision, Two of Swords. And also, I suggest if you want to get these cards out of your deck and lay them out so you can really see them in front of you like I do. So they've been so the lack of transformation or the fear or the block of actually doing this transformation has put them in a position of having to make a decision before the energy, the emotions come up around their feet. You can see that it's very dark here. It's a hard decision, something they really need to put down one of these swords. They really need to make a choice. And because they're stuck in this decision, what happens is that the tower comes up. So oftentimes, this is our own subconscious mind saying, okay, I'm just really tired of waiting around here. You need a lesson, and we're just going to kind of kick you in the butt. And so it's the whack on the side of the head, it's the small earthquake. Because the tower is upside down, it would indicate to me that they knew this was coming. It's sort of like, um, somebody that has to quit a job, a dead end job, and they don't, and they put it off and put it off, and then they walk in one day and their boss fires them. Now they could say, I kind of saw it coming, and it's not a surprise to me. Something happens from the outside that really causes some movement, right? So, so this happens, and it kind of shakes up their world. When it's upside down, it's not as bad, or it was somewhat anticipated. So this was a minor earthquake occurred, and then the outcome here, or the far future, is that it didn't really break their heart. So imagine if this was maybe a dead end relationship and they didn't make the decision, and then something happened that caused the breakup to happen or whatever. And then they find out they're really not brokenhearted about it. So from here, I would probably go back to the center. So at the center of the reading, This is the guy who's got a lot of protections up around him. He's the Nine of Wands. And so he's been through the battles. You see his head is bandaged, he's got some wounds. So he knows, um, he knows the fight. He's been through some life experiences, but he's put up this protection and he's holding a staff, a wand, and he's ready to fight if he has to. But he really is protecting himself. So at the center of this, in fact, at the center of the reason why they didn't go through the transformation was that they were just trying to play it safe. They were trying to protect themselves. They were staying in their comfortable pattern, right? So here the tower comes along and starts the flow again, kicking him kicking him to the curb, so that they have to make some changes. But they're not brokenhearted about it, and it's fine. In fact, this would also indicate that a broken heart is mended, that whatever was really bothering them, maybe, guarding their heart against relationships or something, that is getting mended. So then I would probably look at these two cards. Now, the outcome is the Page of Pentacles reversed. So this is a person who doesn't really know how to handle things on the physical plane all that well. Maybe doesn't handle their money well, or their toys, or their physical body, something like that. That um, they're not doing well with that. Now it could be a child, so it could be a child in the person's life, or it could be them being rather immature about how to handle the physical world, their money, something like that. Now, to get there, and it's upside down, there's an imagination. So, in this case, it's a positive imagination. Maybe they've got all these pipe dreams, right? Oh, I've got dragons and pearls and treasures. And, this might be somebody that says, oh, I'm going to open up a business one day. And, oh, I'm going to be an artist and I'll be famous. And they have a lot of ideas. But what's happening here is it's not manifesting. They're not making a decision, and we're stuck in this imagination phase, and it's not helping them to implement that on the physical, to have that be um, more manifested, even though they think they're going to be wealthy. Here it is, I'm going to be rich and famous. I'm going to start a business. I'll be an actress, whatever that is. And I anticipate having money and stability and being productive. But what is happening is they aren't. Okay? Now, how we can change this. So before we do that, let's look at this. The fear is that they're not going to have regrets. How would that go? So the fear is that they're going to sleep, they're going to get good sleep, or they're going to, be, in their rest here. But this is also a card of regrets, but reversed, afraid they won't have regrets. I don't need to do anything because I'm not going to have regrets. I don't need to actually manifest these ideas. And here, other people thinking they have pleasant memories. Maybe they are stuck in their pleasant childhood. Maybe they feel privileged. They have good memories, and maybe even living in the past, which might pertain to this as well. They're kind of living in the past where things were fun. They're keeping themselves blocked and protected, and they're living in their dream world, but not manifesting here, even though they think they will. So, how we change this, because this is not a particularly pleasant outcome, we can change this so that it's upright, so that they're paying more attention to life and money and their physical health and their toys and their physical objects, and they're more mindful, they're learning the lessons of money and values. But that means this would turn over. So if we turn this one and reverse this, instead of having pipe dreams, they would manifest one of those pipe dreams, or at the very least, their imagination would turn to worry. And I'm not one that thinks that worry is a particularly good thing to be engaged in, but sometimes we need a little bit of concern or a little bit of a negative imagination to inspire us. So we could think in the positive way, we could think, oh, someday a rich man is going to marry me and everything will you know, be taken care of, or I'm going to win the lottery so I can just kick back and enjoy my life right now. I don't need to worry about how I spend my money. Or, just having these positive pipe dreams. I'm going to be a famous artist someday, but not do anything about it. So when we reverse this and we put a little worry in there, maybe they think, well, gosh, if I don't get going, I'm not going to have any money for retirement. Or, gosh, I'm starting to worry about my bills mounting up. I need to, get out of my safe zone here, make a decision, and do this transformation and get on my path so I can actually make this money. So in this case, turning this over and making them be more worried actually makes for a better outcome. Interestingly enough, that would turn this over, which means they'd have a broken heart. But the broken heart in this case might be that, well, they have to stop playing video games, or they have to, um, you know, separate from something important but has not been very valuable for them. So there might have to be a separation, maybe even from their old ways, which would indicate maybe they need to go through that transformation. Because if they did, then the decision would be made. There would be change, but it would be, to a better outcome. Okay, well, I hope that helps you to figure out how to do readings, or at least how we approach it. And just practice, 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 and it will get easier for you, and you will really enjoy this lifelong skill and talent.